3 million ton capacity ultra-modern cement plant, and also the groundbreaking of the second line of BUA's 3 million ton plant right here in Okwela, Edo State. Just reading about this magnificent complex and seeing it, at least parts of it now, I intend to see some of it as we go along. I'm extremely proud to be a Nigerian, and I'm sure that several of us here are. This is a wholly Nigerian enterprise, and to know that the planning, the execution, and successful establishment of this industrial complex was done by a Nigerian and by a Nigerian team is really, really good to know. The construction of this plant is, of course, a big boost to the Nigerian economy. It means thousands of direct jobs and indirect jobs, both for skilled and unskilled workers, from the commencement of the works to the current smooth running of the production process. As a matter of fact, we're told that production is on now and there is no dust, no noise. It is all just working so very well. This, I think, is just an amazing thing indeed. At the level of production already attained, it also means a consolidation of Nigeria's self-sufficiency in cement and a big boost to our export capacity. As noted by the chairman himself, Alhaji Abdul Samad BUA, during a visit to my office on July 7th, 2017, he spoke about two factors which he thought would bring down the cost and availability of cement in Nigeria. One of those was the currency, exchange rate. And of course, it's completely correct to say, he was completely correct to say that as our currency improves and stabilizes, and as we see reductions in the price of low-poor fuel oil, it is inevitable that the production cost and market price of cement will come down to a level that's within the reach of many more Nigerians. I'm also happy to note that in the construction of the power production facility for this plant, the BUA Group has used the most modern and efficient gas turbines, which combines low and economical running costs with a very high degree of reliability. This enterprise typifies our expectations as a government. In the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, which was launched by Mr. President on the 5th of April 2017, he made it clear that Nigeria's economic emancipation and growth must be private sector-led and driven. There is simply no public sector resource that can match the resources, the drive, and the commitment of the private sector. So for us as a government, doing all we can to encourage investments of this type is not just a good idea. It is the cornerstone of our economic policy. There is no other way to grow this country without the active management and the active participation of the private sector. It must be private sector led. So as a government, we're committed to creating an enabling environment and eliminating the bottlenecks that impede innovation and market-based solutions. Another underlying principle of the ERGP, or the Economic Recovery Growth Plan, is, and which is of course worthy of mention here, is our focus on combating the identified constraints to growth. Factors like fuel shortages, inadequacy of power, access to foreign exchange, unfriendly business regulations, shortage of skilled manpower, etc. All of these are constraints that we're determined to deal with. And I want to seize this opportunity to reassert the determination of the Buhari administration to continue with what I would describe as enabling business environment while going the extra mile to directly assist the private sector in steadily growing our economy. In this regard, we are working very hard with the Industrial Policy Council, of which the chairman of the BUA Group is a prominent member, to evolve and implement well-considered solutions to business impediments and economic stagnation in Nigeria. Again, I must commend the Edo State government under His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki and the former governor of Edo State, Governor Adams Oshiomhole. Your business-friendly policies and your preparedness to back private sector initiatives is an excellent demonstration of how to grow the economy and create worthwhile jobs in the process. Your Excellency Governor Obaseki, I must commend you for diligently building on the commendable work of Governor Oshiomhole. This is how great societies are built. Nation building is never judged by the number of new projects or fresh ideas that we begin. We are judged by what we complete and sustain well years after. So it's not how well we start, it's more how well we finish and maintain what we have created for the benefit of our people in the years to come. Last but of course not the least, I warmly congratulate my brother and friend, Alhaji Abdul Samad Rabiu, as well as the management and staff of the BUA Group for this remarkable achievement. Samad, you are numbered amongst individuals in Nigeria who are properly described as entrepreneurs, men and women running value-adding, job-creating enterprises using local resources and talents to create value and wealth. The world's greatest economies attain significance by the contributions of its major entrepreneurs, such as yourselves. It is not by those who describe themselves as businessmen, but are in fact just rent seekers. This country will only grow on the talent and the resourcefulness of people like yourselves who are ready to put their resources out, invest anywhere in the country, employ the local people in that community, and add real value to the lives of Nigerians. It's my sincere hope and prayer that you will continue steadily on the path of growth, knowing that on your success hangs the hopes of millions. And so it's now my very special pleasure and privilege to commission this plant. We're still going to go and take a look at it and do so formally for the benefit of Edo State, the Nigerian people, and others all over the world who will benefit from its products, and to the glory of God. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much, sir. Please take your seats. Right now, we are drawing to the end of this part of the ceremony, this part of the program today. And in a few minutes, we will move on to the next part. I just have a couple of announcements to make before then. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for being here. Like I said earlier, this room is full of eminent personalities. I see royal fathers, I see captains of industry, I see bank CEOs, I see very, very senior staff of the BUA Group. I see business partners of the BUA Group, of BUA Cement in particular. You are all very welcome, and you are all very, very much appreciated. Just before I invite the gentleman who will give us the vote of thanks, the announcement is that once we've taken the vote of thanks and the national anthem to end this part of the ceremony, the Vice President and team will take a tour of the facility. The people who are allowed to be on that tour will have it signified on their passes that they're wearing around their necks. It will say tour at some part of that pass. They will be the only ones allowed on the buses. For the rest of us, there's a lot of refreshments here, food and drink we have, which we will have while they're on the tour. It's a short tour. They will go and have a look around, and they'll be back very shortly. So please, if your pass does not permit you to be on the tour, don't bother to go to the buses. The buses are to my right, are just outside this tent, and we'll board the buses and go on a tour of the facility. All those who have the right passes for that. May I now please invite for the vote of thanks the Managing Director of BUA Cement, Engineer Yusuf Binji. Can we welcome him as he comes on stage, please? Thank you.
من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It is a special privilege